hello, welcome back on VCTV, the Venture Capital TV. It's from LaToken. And today we're going to discuss about how to recruit those A-star players, like, the A players for a startup, for a company. Amazing. So I have all the regular speakers. Yes, Kartik, welcome back. Kingsley, welcome. Gary, good morning. And Dr. Srikanth, welcome back as well. So before I start introducing the speakers of the evening, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sonny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of LaToken based here in Singapore. And I host VCTV Monday till Friday. And today, again, it's a very, it's a very interesting topic. So you've got the funding, you've got the startup, then what next? It's about scaling your startup. And how do you do that? It's with the people that you have in your team, in your company. So let's discuss what are the best practices to have this team from our speakers today. Kartik, quick round of intro.
Thank you so much. My name is Kartik. I come in from the Middle East, Dubai. I represent family offices and venture funds and actively involved in fintech, edutech, and health tech space. And currently incubating a few startups as well. So yeah, actively involved in even building the A team for startups. Lovely to be here with you, all of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kartik. Dr. Srikanth, over to you, please.
Hi, I'm Dr. Srikanth Parthasarathy. I act as a legal counsel for Forbes 500, and as a part of my engagement with the Forbes 500, I'm frequently encountered with how to build a team, and that is something that I'm going to share today, and hope you will benefit from this particular discussion.
Sure, awesome, and welcome back. Gary, good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. Great to see everybody here. Great to see friends, smiling faces.
Yes.
Sonny, great to see you. So my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I love AI and quantum. Done 17 companies, 2 unicorns, everything from cybersecurity to long-range weather forecasting models, non-linear weather forecasting models. And so we're here. I love it. I think that AI is the fuel for the future with data and, of course, with quantum computing. I am the CEO, president, and co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum. We create companies from all over the world. In fact, we'll be back in Nigeria soon, Kingsley, meeting with folks, working with some incredible groups there, and great to be here today.
Fantastic, Gary. It's always great to have you on our show. Thank you so much. Next, Kingsley. Welcome back. How are you today?
Hello, Sonny. How are you? I'm feeling very good. I'm motivated. The family reunion that is here. Gary, Kartik, welcome back. And Doctor is on the team again today. So it's a beautiful day as always. So good evening from Tokyo to everyone. So my name is Kingsley Kobayashi. I'm the founder of Kobayashi Group. I'm a serial entrepreneur, investor in commercial real estate, blockchain, traditional finance, and startup. It's a beautiful topic today, and I'm looking forward to a great discussion. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kingsley, and welcome back. So again, it's a very important topic because investors obviously want a strong leadership team. And they aren't shy about taking action when necessary, right? It even makes sense from the investor's point of view. They have an investment to protect, and they can't have an underpowered sort of team, so as to say. So that's why recruiting, I think, a A-star team is very crucial from their point of view, right? So Kartik, what is the A-star team? How do you build the need for a player in the organization? And what is the investor's role in recruiting that A-star team or structuring that A-star team? You're mute.
Yep. It was like one of those Chinese movies for a long time ago. Those kung fu movies.
to different people, A-star team at different points in the journey of a startup necessarily means different. As you set up the org, but the fundamentals of recruiting an A-star team more or less remains the same. 10 years ago, when we were in the middle of a tech revolution, we were all looking for talent. Today, the barometer has shifted. Today, talent's available dime a dozen. What we look forward to in building an A-star team is the attitude, the grit, the determination, the ability to roll up your sleeves and get things going. More importantly, execution finesse is what we look at. And that's where a lot of investors come into play. Being an investor in a few businesses and holding a few companies together, I've realized as an investor, I'm able to bring in a lot of wide horizon thinking, black hat thinking, as we call it, which is to articulate a business's vision more often than not over a long period of time and bring in a level of sharper focus in building the A team. As an entrepreneur or as a CEO of a business or as a co-founder, I might have a very narrow vision about what I can do with the dollars available and with the business can scale. But as an investor, I bring in a magnitude of thought encompassing all the businesses in the ecosystem. And that is where hiring good quality talent, not only hiring good quality talent, you cultivating good quality talent and retaining good quality talent becomes that much more important. You can pay top dollar to somebody, you can guarantee him ESOPs for 5 years and bring him on board. But if you do not build a level playing platform and an execution ground for him to perform over a period of time, either you will blunt the talent or the talent will leave you, and you'd be back to where you were.
Yes, great points, Ratik. Totally agree with that as well. Kingsley, over to you with your insights about how would you recruit yourself for your company, A-star players.
Oh, I know my mic was on. Okay. Sonny, this is a very crucial question for startups and even companies that are already doing well. Your team is very important, especially your top team. What is most important there is what value are they going to be adding to the company? You don't just hire people because they have big names. Yes, it's good to have big names, but at the same time, they have to be able to bring a certain value to the table. They have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to give you this in return for what you are giving me. And it is very important, like Kartik said, to keep them loyal. How do you keep them loyal? What kind of incentives are you giving them that they don't jump from one company to the other? Excuse me. And another thing is that the A team members that move from one company to the other becomes what we call job prostitutes. If you see somebody moving from one company to the other all the time, I am not going to recruit that person because he's going to jump from my company to another company again. So, but to keep somebody loyal, you need to give them incentives. You know, they have to have incentive to stay with you. They have to be result oriented. They have to be able to argue with you, not agree with you all the time. You know, I don't need a yes sir person by my side. I need somebody that will be able to tell me, Kingsley, this is what I'm doing wrong. Why don't we do it this way? You know, I'll go back think about it. This is what a team is about. People you are able to disagree and agree with and come up to a final conclusion of what you want to do with the business. So that's my small summary of it.
Absolutely. Retention is equally difficult as much as hiring. Gary, over to you.
Yeah, so with the way that we do it, we build intergenerational, especially now during the pandemic. So you have folks with some gray hair and that have the experience and connections. Then at the same time, multicultural diversity, because it's shown that diversity builds better and stronger companies, and also decentralized, because you want to have the right team at the right place at the right time. For instance, if I do R&D work, if I need R&D work done for that company, places like India or Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, places where I can get the most bang for the buck. I had a 4-star admiral on my show recently, and Bill Owen was the #2 guy in the entire U.S. military out of the White House. And I asked him, what are the keys to leadership? And he told me compassion. He said, if people know that you care about them, they in turn care about you, and it makes them more integrated within the team. So compassion is really important. The other thing is having capabilities as leaders to be inspirational. By that, I mean, to be able to inspire the group, to look at about the opportunity is the glass is half full, not half empty. To stay positive, to breed those, because it's called the Pygmalion effect, the self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you create those kind of environments, inspire people to move forward, and of course you've got to have a great idea, and you have to be fair. You know, some people say, like with stock options, oh, I'm not going to give options out. I'm going to keep a very low employee stock pool. But you want everybody to be able to benefit in the success of the company. So, you know, treat people fairly. And if you do those kind of things, from my perspective, the probability of having a successful startup, because it's not easy, right? Startups go up and down. Companies go up and down. You want people that, so when the lows are low, they're not going to jump just because they found a company with a better salary. You want people that are really care about the company, care about the growth of the company. I remember a number of years ago, I was working for a company, and the CEO of that company said, you know, the key is do the right thing. So you'd never get in trouble with a company as long as you felt and you could say that I did the right thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's debatable, the stock options. But anyways, thanks for
debatable in terms of what?
Did I just maybe I perceived, like you said, that obviously giving them stock options is not going to be a sustainable.
No. I said you need to be able to be fair and come up with an employee stock pool and let people partake in the success of the company. So giving options out. Some places in some countries, they don't believe in, you know, they believe in, you know, you should, as the leaders of the company, you should get the bulk of the company and give very little out to employees. I have an entirely different philosophy. I believe you should have 15 to 20% of the options for the employees to be able to motivate them to help the company grow.
Okay, sorry, I just got the opposite, but you're totally right, Gary. I agree with your views as well on that. Thank you. Dr. Srikanth, over to you.
So I'm going to give you the perspective of the government, right? Having been the government, and officially I'm categorized as the state according to the government of India. So I come under the element of state as such. So we had a pool of somebody called administrative services, or civil servants who moved up the hierarchy and so on and so forth. So what the government is actually doing right now, and it would be, I'll come to the part where you recruit A employees for you. The government is trying to decentralize the administrative services, so you don't have to select from a pool of people who have cleared high aptitude examinations and come to a particular stage. Now we are looking at industry veterans actually join the government, right? And one of those veterans, I wouldn't say veteran, one of those people who benefited from that particular regime is me. So what is happening is the government itself is rising up to the challenge of building a A-class team. For example, the Axel Partners venture partner has been recruited as the CEO of the startup mission of a particular state. So that necessarily indicates that there must be something that Axel is possibly doing well. So coming back to the question of identifying A players, I think the question rests with the fact that you need to identify who your B level players are first, and see if they can be elevated or they have the potential to become A level. Because I have always found this myth that everybody is seeking out for A star category, or the 5 rated person. I wouldn't say guy, because I've predominantly found women who are 5 rated. And I've always struggled with the idea that you keep on searching the 5-star person, but what happens to the 4-star and the 4.5 and the 4.75s and the 4.25s? So I seriously believe that the B stars have to be given the opportunity, because given the right opportunity, they have the right to the chance to rise up because the talent that I've found in my firm, at least the best litigation experts that I've found are from the tier 2 cities who don't speak native English. And you would be surprised, a Brazilian lawyer or a UAE based lawyer I mean, I can't categorize you as a tier two, but from a legal perspective, it wasn't a barrister, it wasn't a solicitor. So I found the best talent from these places. So I have a very contrarian view. I have a view that the B star are the or the B level categories are the real A level, are in unidentified A level at least.
Yes, very differing views, but I think I have to agree to you as well, Dr. Srikanth. I mean, obviously, you can categorize people if they're from the big cities, they are the A stars or the A players in a company. My next question is actually in relation to that. What's the difference between A player or a core team member? Because a core team member of a company are the A players. That's what we see. And a typical employee. What is the difference between the two? Kartik?
So let me check if my mic is on. Yeah, it's on. Oh, okay. So yeah, I am just doing Gary testing.
What does Gary
I was
test?
waiting. I was starting to smile thinking about it.
So it's about the mindset, Sonny. It's about the fabric, the cultural fabric of the organization that you build. And as you're a startup, you're expected to bring in skill sets which are very different from a regular steady state businesses. Your problem solving skills, ability to multitask, ability to manage ambiguity, ability to bottom up the entire funnel and work towards it, work cohesively with the people below you, above you, and still continue to pursue the goals in a very entrepreneurial mindset with a very firm vision on the goal and an ability to manage moving goalposts. And somebody who's able to do all of this together is necessarily an A class employee or an A star employee. There are typically three kinds of people who come to work: people who come to work, people who come to work and finish their jobs, and people who come to work and make a difference. So your A star is a guy who comes to work and finishes job and makes a difference. But then an A star employee also brings, it's like a refrigerator. When it cools you from inside, it also releases a lot of heat outside. And that's exactly an A star employee is also about. He comes with a very strong, high maintenance calibration around him. Doesn't necessarily get fulfilled by dollar value. An A star employee, we need to understand, is a brand in his own self. And at some point, he's going to start weighing himself as a bigger brand than the organization. And if the organization doesn't continue to fuel his growth in terms of not only dollars, but in terms of challenges that keeps him at bay and challenges that continue to make him feel humble enough in the organization, he's going to either burn out or he'll start investing his time and dollars on further hustling activities. If you notice, a lot of employees today in the A star category are major hustlers who would be doing 5 to 6 different things along with their day jobs or along with leading the organizations. It's not because of the urge to make dollars, it's because of the urge to fuel their growth desires and the urge to continue to maintain their A star status, because that's what makes them different from the others.
Totally agree. Side hustlers all the time. Kingsley, your inputs. What's the difference between a core team member and a typical employee in a startup?
Well, it's a very small line between, like you say, there's a small line between being rich and being poor. As a village boy, like Gary from a very small village, I'll put it very simple for you to understand. The core team, I would say, is the real family. You know, your family, your wife, your children, and then you have the A team as the elders in the family. Right, you have elders in the family. I refer to my staff and my management team as my family, because if nobody coronavirus pandemic, I spend more time with them anyway. So how do you make them to feel comfortable? Now, those who are really doing the job are those you think are below the level. Those who are okay, like the managers, those who actually do the work. These are the core team. You know, these are people that really, from day to day, need to be encouraged, need to be managed properly. You need to bring the best out of them. You have to make them feel that they are part of the team, so they don't go looking for another job. Because the truth is, they are not obligated to you in any way. They have no investment in the company. They have nothing in the company. They are just workers. So how do you make them to feel wanted and not just being used? So to make them feel wanted is, okay, this is the company. If we make this profit, if we hit this target at the end of the month, this is your salary, but you get a percentage of this. If you hit the other target, you get a percentage of this. So that way you are making them part owners without realizing it. They feel they are part of the company. So this is a system that have worked for me along. It's not about just high salary. It's about how do you make them feel like they are part of the company. So the A team are like the elders in the family. You have a quarry, you go to them. They have knowledge. They are either retired in their field. So you provide them with opportunities to continue working instead of just stay home doing nothing, right? Let's take an aeronautic engineer, for example. He has a lot of knowledge, but he's retired at the age of 55 or 65, depending on the country. He's not that old yet, but our system say he's old, he has done his part, he has to go. But that experience is going to be wasted. So why don't you hire this kind of person to be in your advisory board, your A team, so that he's also getting something, he's part of the company, and he's able to give you the knowledge you don't have. You know, the A team is mostly people who are more intelligent than me. Because if you're not more intelligent than me, then why should you be the A team? I know you are more intelligent than me. That's why I'm putting you in the A team. You get more, but you bring value. The core team are people who I'm going to work with on a daily basis to make sure that we get the result. So for most startups, they have to look into that and say, okay, these are retired people who on this field, hire them, put them there to the A team or with experience, and then your own team, which is the core team, make sure that they are encouraged enough. They have enough incentive. You treat them like your own family. Let them realize that you are willing to go an extra mile for them, and they will work their best. It's very simple.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And the analogy, the family is rightly put here. Kingsley, thank you. Gary, what's the difference between a typical employee and a player in a startup?
Well, you know, they're compassionate. They care about the company. Other team members want to work for them. You know, you inspire them. It comes right from the top, right? Everybody wants to be part of as we've talked about, the family. It's a family-like environment. So they care. They go the extra mile. I know I have people on my team today that, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday, or it doesn't matter. The only thing is, can we move the company forward? At the same time, they got to understand that each one of the top executives in the company also have the same desire and are willing to do whatever it takes to move it forward. So you got to lead by example. So you have to be one. Sometimes, you know, I'll spend 24 hours working, and it's because it's the right thing to do. The other thing is, what I found is really important. If you're not doing something right, it's good to be able to take feedback from people that work for you to be able to tell you, you know, what's right or wrong, because you don't know, you don't have all the answers. And having them care enough to be able to give you feedback to point the company in the right direction is really important from my standpoint. So compassion, caring about the company, not about themselves, about moving it forward. And again, if they share in the equity of the company, they're much more likely. It's not about the salary per se. It's about, you know, the entire package. And do they enjoy working for the company? Are they having fun?
I think very rightly put, Gary. Very rightly put. They have to be. They have to feel like they're part of the company in terms of equity, not just on salary. I think that's a very, very differentiating factor between a typical employee and a person who feels like a part of the core team of a company. I think that makes a lot of difference. I hope I'm able to make you understand.
No, I don't. I think I got the exact opposite.
My apologies, I couldn't hear you.
Go ahead, tell me again. It wasn't clear.
All righty, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Dr. Srikanth, over to you.
What was the question again, if I may ask?
That question stemmed from your statement that I would hire people from Brazil or from the emerging markets that as compared to, you know, the high flyers in the city. I don't know. And that's what I gathered from what you said. So again, how do you differentiate between a typical employee and a core team member who is obviously the A player in the company?
I think the answer to that lies in your question itself, because a core team member identifies herself or himself as a core team member, right? I mean, there is a collective interest and a collective pursuit of the goal of the company, of the institution that they intend to carry. So it is like everything that affects the company affects them. So I have had instances where somebody as junior as an analyst actually feel quite moved when the company's strategic directions were not in line. So that is one aspect to it. And then you have a core, and then you have an employee who punches in the 9 to 5 or the 10 to 5 and logs out. I'm not saying that essentially if you log out at 5 and don't chat on WhatsApp or Signal, it's a bad thing. But what I'm trying to say is a person who feels disconnected from the company's goals as such. I think that is where being in the government, you get a perspective because every junior level officer in the government shares the same vision. Especially during COVID times, during times of this crisis, because this brings out the real essence of an employee or a team member, right? I think that is something that I found out quite late, or the pandemic kind of gave. And the second aspect I would say, which differentiates a core team member, is the fact that I've had instances. So let me give you a small anecdote. This was an instance in 2015 where an entrepreneur who we had funded had identified a particular talent and wanted me to do a quick background, I mean, a quick interview with this particular gentleman. And I found the gentleman to be quite disconnected. And the entrepreneur felt that he was a good fit for the organization. So there was a particular disconnect between me and the entrepreneur, because if the entrepreneur felt that I picked him as an investment, and I made a right choice, and he didn't agree with my choice in terms of the employee that he was trying to hire, then we have a difference of opinion, right?
Yeah.
So I think there should be some kind of collectivism when it comes to picking the right employee and so on and so forth. I'm not saying we I was wrong or he was wrong and so on and so forth, but you get the whole point. So I think someone who pursues the collective interest, someone, it may sound a little little political over here, but the intention is for the collective good. It's for the betterment of everyone.
Absolutely. Collective good. Thank you so much, Dr. Srikanth. My next question: who are the core team members of VCTV? Who's going to answer this first? Kartik?
Who
Gary?
who are the core team members?
Yes, please, Gary.
Everyone. Everyone in VCTV. It doesn't matter whether it's Maria or Hazmek. It doesn't matter. I mean, everybody's equal. And the situation is, it doesn't take one person to pull it off. It takes a team. It takes a village, Kingsley, doesn't it, to be able to pull it off?
It does.
And so, everybody's valuable.
Absolutely.
Sonny.
Dr. Srikanth is raising his hand. Sorry, Kingsley. You would like to say something?
Yeah. Go ahead, doctor.
Dr. Srikanth, you raised your hand. Sorry, go for it.
No, I'm going to double down on what Gary said. Not only everyone at VCTV, but we too are the core employees of VCTV, so to speak.
I like that.
Happy family, Srikanth.
I like that answer more, Gary.
Well, I mean, the reason people come on VCTV is because they enjoy it. Remember, these are our therapy sessions and get a chance to connect. During the pandemic, in the darkest times, being able to have conversations with Kingsley and Kartik and Srikanth, yourself, Sonny, was really important. And, many people around the world have reached out to me personally, each one of us, and we gave them hope. We gave them the opportunity. And quite frankly, the reason, some of the business things that we're working on today are because of seeds we planted on VCTV many months ago and relationships. And you develop, it's a family environment, the people that you normally wouldn't see. I mean, the probability of being in Dubai to be able to sit down with Kartik, or going to Japan for Kingsley, or wherever you are today, Srikanth, India, or Singapore. I mean, the situation is, it is giving everybody an opportunity and makes people feel good. And that's, you see when you get the comments at the bottom of the screen, your fan club, Sonny. I think we need the Sonny fan club. We should get, if we want to make money, we'll just get some shirts made up. I love Sonny.
Gary, you should be in Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I read these Sonny fan club's comments, I forget what was I talking about. I lose the train of thought, so I should look at the bottom of my screen.
I love Sonny, they say. You know, it's amazing.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, everybody out there, Sonny wants to know how much you really love her. Please comment.
Okay, so, Sonny, let me just break it down. Let me break it down.
We're having a contest today.
I'm not going to say Sonny. Let me just break it down for you, okay?
Okay.
First of all, you have the LaToken VCTV, right?
Yes.
Then you have the panelists, which is us.
Yeah.
Then you have the audience.
Right.
Then you have the pitchers. Then you have the investors and entrepreneurs out there, which is put together nicely by one Sonny Mohanty out there, manages everything properly, make sure that all this mechanism work together perfectly. I must tell you do a good job.
Thank you.
Most times, there are other, I'm not doing as good as you are doing, but you put the extra effort to make sure that the pitchers are out there for this program. You take the extra effort to call up Gary or Kingsley or Eddie or Kartik if they are not online yet. Now, that is dedication. That is dedication. Yeah, so if you are not dedicated or you don't love what you are doing, people are going to love what you are doing. I personally try as much as possible not to miss it when you are there, because I know you're going to call me or you're going to write me. So I would rather tell you first, I cannot make it earlier or a day before that. Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot make it. It's an emergency. So it's all about what is your commitment.
Right.
If you were not committed, I would not be committed. You take with lassity, I would take with lassity. So you brought a kind of seriousness to this program, which we all appreciate. So when you knock at the door, we are willing to answer. Gary, am I wrong here?
No, you're right on target. You're right on target, Kingsley. And, you know, you're right. There, you know, different parts of it. You know, the Germans have a phrase, Gestalt, the sum of the parts equal the whole. But it is nice being in the Sonny Mohanty fan club.
She's blushing right now, but it's okay.
Come on, everybody. She wants some more comments.
Oh, geez. Thank you so much, Gary, Kingsley, Dr. Srikanth, for those comments. I really appreciate, because the reason I call you, I just don't want to miss you guys, because as I said, all of us here are a part of the pillar. So without Gary, without Kingsley, without Dr. Srikanth or Kartik, I don't think this show is going to be as informative, as exciting, as interesting. Just speaking to one person. I don't say that I don't like speaking to one person. There are situations when speakers don't show up, but I think this core member, these family members, Gary, who's been there since day one, Kingsley, Kartik. Now Kartik is also. So what number, Kartik? Are you in runner-up next to Gary?
I'm at around 130 now. Gary is like 1 to 10 is Gary. Then I'm number 11.
Are we counting?
I don't count anymore. I don't even know that.
No, I love counting. I
was one of the first shows anyway during lockdown. I was one of the first shows. My internet was bad. I was in Nigeria, and but it's okay.
We're all here together.
Kingsley, I wanted to add something. I don't call everyone, but whenever I see that you guys are on the panel, I make sure you're there. Trust me.
You know what they say?
That is what I mean. That is what I mean. It is very important. You take your job seriously, That is why you call and make sure, are we coming? Are we not there yet? What is going on? Or you want to find out if you write something. How is your family? Are you healthy? These are important things that you ask your people you are working with. It's very, very important. There's nothing wrong about that. I just appreciate that. So
thank you. Okay, great. I think I have a question, very important, on point of Mr. Srikanth, Dr. Srikanth, because he said that, okay, there's the investor, there's the founder, and this people are hiring for this company, right? So what if there is a conflict? There's a difference in opinion about this hiring, right? So how to recruit that team, A-star team, where the investor is happy, the founding team is happy. What are the procedures to hire such a team, Kartik?
So you don't necessarily build, or you don't go out looking for an A-star position. I will not go out looking that here is a startup and I need to go and hire an A-star position. I create an organization structure. I create boxes. Some boxes are of strategic importance. Some boxes are very tactical in nature. I hire some boxes for today. I hire some boxes for tomorrow, and I create talent which lasts day after tomorrow as well. So depending on how I'm going to recruit my people, A-star recruitment necessarily goes through multiple steps. It doesn't go through a regular recruitment process of I meet you, you meet me, I ask you questions for half an hour and we get into a marriage. It primarily goes into understanding personality, skill sets, traits, ability, leadership. So it goes through situational analysis, thematic appreciation, task-based roles, and more importantly, people skills, because the fabric of the startup or a fabric of the organization is going to be defined by these stars. These people are going to be the trailblazers who would have to pull the entire organization ahead. And hence, they need to bring in a very strong mix of leadership, compassion, controlled aggression, ability to take risk. And you don't get to understand these things through a 45-minute interview or a panel interview. You get to understand these things by engaging with them, working with them on thematic appreciation, putting them through situational analysis, and having panels where they exhibit and manifest these skill sets through tasks that they're given to do. So, for example, when I was recruiting a COO for my education startup in India and Pakistan, it took me almost 8 months to find the right guy, because education is not about when somebody comes in with the mindset of making dollars in education, or when he comes with a mindset of targets and goals for education, then I'm necessarily dirtying the fabric of the business. So I need to bring in somebody who has a subdued layer of commercial acumen with a very strong service mindset, attitude, and a very strong empathy towards building an education quotient in the organization. So the EQ, IQ, skill, leadership is the balance that you bring in as you recruit. So it is a time-consuming process. You don't want to go wrong in your A-star recruitment, because the moment you've gone wrong, you would be setting your entire organization back by a couple of years by the time you try correcting it. And it's an expensive mistake to make.
Does it take 8 months for every single sector?
Not necessarily. But you don't necessarily, and I am sure all of the panelists will agree, you don't get up one morning and say, I need an A-star. No, you get up and realize that, okay, this position is going to be of strategic importance. So I'll fill this position from a 3-year point of view. So let me get an intermediately skilled guy. Let me invest time on him and make him a high performance employee. So I will look for the raw material, which is the attitude, aptitude, mindset, leadership, and maybe layer it with some domain competency and build the rest of it on my own. It varies from 2 months to 6 months, but I wouldn't reduce it to less than 2 months. Less than 2 months would be a hard. It will be a rushed up job.
Got it. Great points there, Kartik. Thank you so much. Gary, over to you. So Gary, how to recruit?
Gary, you are mute.
Who was that movie again? What was the question?
So Gary, how to recruit? Recruiting these people. I mean, obviously, Kartik says that he naturally doesn't recruit an A-star from day one. Obviously, he hires somebody, trains them, nurtures them, and in a couple of months, he obviously makes them into probably an A-star player in the team. But what are your thoughts? Like, if you're an investor and if you were to hire, are you looking for somebody with MBA from the Stanfords and the Oxfords? Are you looking to hire somebody at an average? You see all those attributes that Kartik said. and groom him or her to become one of the A player?
I mean, most of the time, I've been in tech for 30 years, so you can imagine who you know in Silicon Valley if you're there that long and around the world. So most of the time I go out to my network, and because we have a pretty wide network, most of the time we find somebody that comes through recommendations. In fact, I would say it's 99%. It's not like you're advertising, because, and you'll figure out very quickly, so if I want specific AI expertise, they could come from Google or Facebook, and recommended. They could be, I've had, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say too much because there aren't many billionaires, but I had one time a billionaire's daughter come in. Nobody knew who she really was. Of course, I did.
Right.
And it was incredible, right? Now you have somebody at that level coming in for a director level opportunity. And I mean, she just blew it away. I got to tell you, she was unbelievable, really, truly. And people say, when you have money, that kind of money, 12 or $15 billion, you wouldn't be working that hard. And she was one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in my life. So, and other people, maybe wouldn't hire her, but I mean, she came in, it wasn't about the money. It was about the passion for learning. So I use a network. That's how we recruit. I make sure everybody's on the same page and we all partake. Everybody's voice is valuable. And in terms of, the situation where you find somebody, you've got a conflict with the board, most of the time, when I'm on a board or I'm a CEO of a company, the CEO is ultimately responsible. I mean, they have the fiduciary responsibility. So if a board of advisor or board of directors really starts forcing an issue, it's not the right thing to do, because the CEO truly has that responsibility. And if you start to not let them make their decisions, they start to lose interest in the company. That's how you'll start to lose them, right? You'll start to create conflict. So from my standpoint, you give them advice, tell them what you think should be the right thing to do, but ultimately it's their decision.
Yeah, I think that's obviously, I agree, Gary. I think, CEO, obviously investors have different portfolios. It's very, it's difficult for them to micromanage that way, the recruitment process. But totally agree with that, Gary. Thank you so much. Kingsley, over to you.
Yes, Sonny. Just to go back to what Dr. Kartik said, Saket, am I correct? What the doctor said earlier on. The harmony of a team is very important. The harmony of a team. If you are creating a team, the harmony of that team is very important. So after you hire the person, it becomes the responsibility. But before you hire someone, if somebody in the team tells me, I don't like this person for this reason, I go to him. Why don't you? What is the problem with this person? Right? And if I feel that that person coming in is going to create a friction with the relationship of the team right now, yes, I will not hire him. But if you are both already in the team and there is a problem, it becomes the CEO position to rectify that situation, because he's the boss. So they cannot be two boss in a trade. But if before you come into the place, there's already a negative connotation about you, I'm sorry, I would rather keep my team than bring you in, no matter your expertise, to destroy that I have in place. I will respect the decision of any board member or any core employee, small employee, who is even the least worker there, to the highest person coming in. I mean, you don't bring in bad blood into the family. If there's a bad blood, you're going to destroy it. So that is very important. Then when I'm recruiting people, what you look at is passion. The passion of the person. What passion does does he have the passion for this job? Does he love this job? Because you don't love what you do, that is when you go to work. You don't, when you love what you do, you're not going to work. You're going. All my life I have loved what I do. If I don't love what I do, I'm getting out of it. I won't be productive. So I need people who love what they do. If you are in the entertainment business, for example, or in the hospitality business, if you are not happy when you leave home, you are going to make the customer to be very unhappy. So whatever problem you have at home or you have elsewhere, when you get to the door of your job, you drop it and put on that smile. We all go to the doctors for different ailments. We don't know what that doctor is suffering from. He may even have cancer. She may even have cancer. We don't know. But she put on a smiley face and listen to all your problems.
Yeah, true.
Until you are done, she goes back home and deal with her own problem or his own problem. This is how a team should be. We can discuss our own personal problem outside the work, but not inside the work. So the best way of creating a core team or a team is actually to look for people you can work with.
Yeah.
People that have the same values with you. People that have the same ethics, the same principles. Not people that have no rules. They do whatever they like. No, I don't need those kind of people. I need people who have ethics, who have values, who have job values, who have family values, personal values. These are very important. These are things I put into place. Your degree, that can be gotten somewhere else. Somebody else have it. But as long as you want to be a team player, like Gary said, put them together. It's very important that we have one goal. We are dragging one rope together. If you don't feel that way, then you cannot be part of the team. And I am lucky so far that my team is really good. And if I come to work, this is the way I work. If I come to work, I feel you are not part of that team, I'm sorry, you are leaving. If the kitchen is too hot, you get out. It's very simple. Yeah. But if you are part of the team, you are part of my family.
Yes.
And I pray that you grow better than me. Not just use you and throw you, but better than me. This is very important. So we all look for things when hiring, but I look for people with the same values, people with the same principles, credible people with good, not just your degrees. You can get anywhere.
Totally agree. I mean, it's all about people at after a certain point. Like you've got your MVP, you've got your go-to-market strategy, you've got your product, you've got your traction, but without the right fit in terms of people, you can't go much far. I think, yeah, we all agree to that. Thank you so much, Dr. Srikanth. Your insights about the hiring process, how to recruit those A players. What are the procedures to recruit those A players?
It just happens that you stumble upon an A player, right? I mean, if you just statistically take from an empirical perspective, you would exactly land at a median average. So an average employee or an average. So it is for a leader to actually motivate them to become A employees or A team members in a particular organization, which is where I agree completely with Gary as well as with Kartik. That statistically it's not possible to stumble upon A player every time that you try to recruit. So it's just not possible statistically. So I think that's where the leadership of the entrepreneur is tested. That's where the leadership. That's where we as investors, when we put the money, we believe that the entrepreneurs can drive a B-star employee or a 3-star employee to become a 5-star employee. So that is one of the attributes that I put put my money towards the entrepreneur. It's not the idea, it's not the product, it's not the the sophistication of the product as such only. It is also the fact that how they are able to create, to make the transition of a 3-star to a 5-star.
Absolutely, totally agree. I think in line with what Kartik said. Let's take a last, before the closing remarks, I want to ask, anybody has any experience to share with recruitment where recruitment went totally wrong, or just the expectations where, the person who came on board probably had a different set of expectations from you before the hiring started. And obviously things totally went wrong. Anyone who can share this experience with us?
So everybody who would have been either running businesses or would have been running enterprises would have gone through wrong recruitments and recruitment errors. depending on the size and the scale of the organization, your recruitment errors multiply. I've had a very dubious distinction of recruiting a chief operating officer for one of the startups that actually was about to turn turtle because of the recruitment error. So in a zeal to build a fast-paced organization, we got somebody who has been or who was rather a trailblazer in the banking space, extremely passionate, extremely result oriented, and very, very aggressive. Because that was the kind of startup that we were in the Middle East. Little did I realize at the time of getting him on board that the dollars and the stock options, and more importantly, the position, would fuel a very different race in terms of aggression and in terms of stifling a lot of growth outsets or growth mindsets of a younger generations and younger team member. And in turn, the fabric of the organization from being cohesive and collaborative tried becoming a one-man show and one-man story, and the rest of the organization only had to chug along for a good 6 months before it became before the linens were washed in public. So I think we've seen that happen. At the end of the day, I had to pay a lot of severance money for the guy to move on, and it took my organization a year before it could come out of the woods. So I'm very, very careful about balancing aggression with people skills. It's one of the lessons that I've learned is that you might not get the fastest guy in the team, but then the speed of the organization not necessarily is the speed of the fastest guy. It's about the speed of the slowest guy. And hence you would need somebody who can actually manage the slowest mover in the organization and turn him into a enterprising recruit. So that's some learnings that I've had. I've had learnings also about people who come in from organizations which are that are plush with dollars, who come in with experiences where dollars never been a challenge. And the moment they get into startup, the first challenge is, how do I control my expenses? How do I not run the bills that cannot, or how do I cut checks that my body can't cash? That's a challenge that we've seen. But then it's a part of learning.
I know. Totally agree, Kartik. Especially the latter one I've seen from big enterprises to a startup is huge adjustment. Thank you so much. Anybody to share anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, on the other note, I always look for people that are smarter than me, and there are a whole lot of them out there. And so, some people say, they try to dominate people, but you want to look for people that are smarter than you. Yeah. And it really helps out a lot. So, you don't want to be afraid. You really want to understand that that's how you make it's like a link in a chain. That's how you make that chain really strong. So hire people and also give them opportunities to be able to expand. So really smart folks want to be able to try different things. Give them those opportunities to be able to try other things and keep them intellectually stimulated, because if you do that, you're going to build a much stronger organization too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary. Kingsley.
Yeah, there are two things I want to talk about here. One is hiring people that think they are too good for you. There are people that come in, and from the very day they come in, they already believe they are better than others. They are better than everything that is going on there. This person will never succeed. I have had a very bad experience with this. I hired the manager and beat up everybody, shut up everybody. It doesn't work that way. I have also been in a situation where I was looking for a general manager for a particular company, and I was like, I put the word out there. I was asking my friends to find me somebody, and somebody said, why don't you use your staff? I'm like, my staff? Are you sure you can do it? He said, yeah, he's always trying. And that was from a customer, right? A customer seeing him work that I said, make him the boss. Make try. Okay, why not? And today he's one of the best A team I have.
Wow.
He actually proved himself that the opportunity was good for him. He brought out the best in him. So he became very loyal, and I can leave my company in his hands and say, okay, you just run it. Because he took that opportunity not with levity, but with a good heart. So it depends on who you are giving the opportunity to. And I'm grateful for him today because he's doing a lot. I would say, oh, let's just wait for them. He said, no, I'll bring it to your house today. That is loyalty, because you've given that person the opportunity to achieve his goals in life. I was also given that opportunity a long time ago. I was not supposed to be in that position, but I was given that position, and that brought out the best in me. Sometimes just so that it's not that's right. I have to say in Japan, right? Too intelligent or too pompous is sometimes good for the company. It depends on how you are hiring. Like I said, if I'm in a room and I'm more intelligent than everybody, I'm getting out. I need people who are more intelligent than me, people I can learn from. Like people think I come here just to talk about things. No, I am also learning every day. And I'm learning from Gary, I'm learning from Doctor, I'm learning from Kartik, I'm learning from Sonny. I also learn from my son, from my wife, I learn from everybody, all in a learning process. Nobody is perfect. There's perfection in humanity. So we must realize that all the time.
Absolutely, Kingsley. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. Dr. Kartik, sorry, Dr. Srikanth, sorry about that, Dr. Kartik.
Dr. Kartik.
I am loving this.
Doctor.
I am loving this. I am loving this.
I would have spent 5 years doing my bloody doctorate. It could be earned in just a jiffy over here.
Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies.
Okay, see, I have a let me give you some empirical. I mean, since you brought out the doctor aspect or the dossier aspect, let me give you some empirical statistics, right? Behind every bad hire, you also have a mediocre hire, which turned out to be a good hire, right? So statistically, they kind of even out in an organization. So you didn't expect the person to be a very good hire, but that person turned out to be a great hire as such. I mean, or a great team member. And you expected someone, a CFO or a COO, to be a very good hire, and they turned out to be absolute. So statistically, what we do is we as I'm sorry, I'm being pompous over here. We as leaders, we account for this abnormality which arises in terms of, let's say, 5% or 10% of the hiring that you do will, and in all probability, will go wrong. So we account for that, and then we do the hiring. So if you want me to pinpoint a particular case, I wouldn't have a case to pinpoint, because equally I have the cases of mediocre hires who I thought mediocre hires were turned out to be great team players. So it kind of evens out.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Srikanth. Fantastic. Thank you. I'll just come to the end of the show. I had a great time again with my VCTV core team members and family members. Thank you, Kartik. Thank you, Kingsley, Gary, and Dr. Srikanth. So thank you, viewers, for your love and your support of VCTV. Again, I am back tomorrow on another episode of VCTV. By the way, I'm back now. I'm not back. I'll be online speaking with the founder. Sorry, Gary.
No, you do. You have to say, "I'll be back."
I'll be back. Sorry. So I'm going live with the founder of AIBC. Sorry, he's the organizer and founder of AIBC Dubai. So yes, please do tune in if you have the time. If not, see you tomorrow. Most of you probably going to join me again on another panel. Till then, take care, stay happy, and stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Yes, we will. Bye-bye.